this lesson, we are going to check about creating our own custom exception. So, what do you mean by custom exception? Now, let's go to our previous example here. If the salary is less than 60,000, she's saying throws new exception. With this salary, we cannot live in Bangalore. But the message is fine. Don't you think throw new exception or throw new arithmetic exception? It looks very awkward. Why don't you have an exception like throw new salary not enough exception, throw new color not fair exception, throw new height is too short exception, isn't it? So this is where we are going to make use of a concept called creating our own custom exception. See, simple. Here we are going to use one of the most powerful concept of core Java, that is user relationship. So what is user relationship? Simple. If I want to create my own exception, I'll simply create my class, my ordinary class. Extends either class exception or any of its subclass. Then my class will become an exception. So if I extend a class exception or any of its subclass other than runtime exception and its subclass, then my class, my exception becomes checked exception. If I extend runtime exception or any of its subclass, then my exception will become unchecked exception. So let's go ahead and add more things to this example. So let's say I will create one class called, let me create on the top here. I'll create one class called class salary not enough exception. So it's an ordinary class. I want this to become exception. That is salary not exception is an exception. How do you do that? Is a relationship. Is a relationship. How do you do it? Extends exception. That's it. Salary not enough exception is a exception. Salary not enough exception is an checked exception. Is a checked exception. But if the user may want to send some message, isn't it? So let's create a constructor for this guy. If you want to spend some custom message, say in the girl class, she may want to message saying that, with this salary, we cannot live in Bangalore. Someone is working on some New York matrimonial system. They might put a message saying that this much of dollars is not even enough for my makeup. And there could be a situation like that. So we should provision the user to use our exception class, but send their own message. So what I'll do here, I'll simply call super constructor of exception, and whatever the message I get, I'll pass it to that guy. That's it. This is how we create our own custom exception. Same way you can create color not enough exception or height is too short exception, extends exception, like that you can go ahead and do it. I'll simply do it for one. So how do you make use of this? Simple. Here, throw new salary not enough exception, throws salary not enough exception. Since it's a checked exception, if I compile now, we are surrounding with try and catch exception itself, so it will not give us any error. Suppose if I have a statement alone, let's comment all this. So now what happens? So it's giving me an exception saying that unreported exception, salary not enough exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. So what do? I'll surround with try and catch. You remember we studied one point earlier. The most specific exception should be the first catch block. So we will catch salary not enough exception. Now we go and we try to compile. Again it says unreported exception because this method throws one more exception called exception. So let's catch exception also. Maybe if you have created your own custom classes to catch, let's say color not fair enough, color not good enough exception, then you would have such catch blocks here. Now we compile this and we execute. So it's going to color not fair. Let's say color is fair, but let's reduce the salary. Salary not enough exception. With this salary, what are the messages coming? And program is not breaking, it is continue to execute. So this is how we create custom exceptions. And that is the end of the most lengthiest chapter in Java, that is exceptions.